StarRupture's built-in FSR looks like this, and FSR4 looks like this. Same resolution, same performance mode, night and day. I'm gonna show you two ways to get this. One is dead simple, one that gives you way more power and is also very simple. So let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to GeekJ, where we make tech, tutorials and gaming simpler and better. So, StarRupture. This game looks amazing already and runs surprisingly well on my hardware, which is a far cry from high-end in 2026. We're talking a 5800X3D, RX 6800 XT and 32 gigs of RAM. Full specs, you can find them in the description below. But if you've played this game for any amount of time, you know the story. Your base gets bigger, the world fills up, and that smooth frame rate kind of starts to tank at some point. So we need all the help we can get, and FSR4 is that help basically. So let's start by looking at where this game sits out of the box at native resolution. And we're gonna go through the whole shebang of settings. So let me start StarRupture. I got the Steam overlay metrics over here. It's basic, but really good and doesn't crash my games. So we go into options, then video, and you will be able to see I'm running this in full screen, and this is the only way the game was smooth for me. And I tested this on AMD GPU and an NVIDIA GPU, and it was the same. It was a 4070 Ti, I believe, that I tested this, and I got the same result. The game didn't feel smooth, even though the FPS number was pretty high. The only way to get the game working smoothly and feeling smoothly, it was by setting this to full screen. Windows 10 and 11 do not do the real full screen thing, so you can alt tab as you would normally. It's probably a bug in the code or something. And then I enabled a vertical sync, and that's the only way I got the game to feel smooth. So anyway, we're gonna go with upscaling method built in, a native resolution, a no upscaling sharpness, a no frame generation, and no low latency technologies. And as for the graphics, I went for epic, and I enabled the landscape tessellation, which is an experimental feature. But other than that, as you can see over here, the additional graphics, I disable motion blur because I really hate it. It looks bad in almost every game I've ever tested. Then I'm gonna load into my save game over here, and we're gonna test out how this looks. So it's native resolution. We're using TSR for anti-aliasing, and we're, as you can see, getting around 100 FPS in this very, very beginner base I have created over here. So yeah, this is how the game looks and feels. It's really, really smooth. As you can see, the GPU is pretty much maxed out. But yeah, the average is about 100 FPS, and don't forget, I am recording using OBS, so we are getting a hit in performance, no other way around it. But yeah, instead of 105, we're getting around 100 FPS. So that's, yeah, totally playable, and it really looks great. This game really looks really, really good. As you can see over here, we have a lot of different environments. There is a lot of green, there's a lot of rocky areas, and you can see the grass and all that good stuff. Yeah, we go around over here. You can see we're hovering around high 90s, and then we go up to 100 and sometimes maybe a little bit higher. If I'm not recording, this is probably gonna give me about 104, 105 FPS. These are the numbers in my notes right now. So now if we flip on the built-in FSR 3.1.5, I'm gonna try it on quality and then on performance. Let me actually go do that now. So options, video, we're gonna go with FSR and then we're gonna go quality, and then I'm gonna go with 10% sharpness. I'm gonna apply this. We're not gonna change anything else. And as you can see, we are going up to 125 frames per second over here. So yeah, it's a solid bump. In my own testing, I got 130 to 134 frames per second. Obviously, we're losing some of that, you know, performance because, again, I am recording this on the same computer. We are starting to see that shimmering and a little bit of those jagged edges. They're creeping in, and that was not there, obviously, when we were playing in the native resolution. But yeah, the jagged edges and the shimmering, especially when we're moving on the finer details, are the telltale instabilities of FSR 3.1.5, unfortunately. So just to show you how big of a difference this is gonna make, we're gonna go directly to the extremes. As you can see, there's a lot of aliasing over there. But yeah, let's go directly to the extremes. We're gonna go into performance mode, so video, and we're gonna go directly into performance mode, and then I'm gonna bump it up to 25% sharpness over here. And as you can see, yeah, the gain in performance is not there. Like in my own testing, now I can see it's about 137, 38. My own testing, from 134, I bumped up to 144 to 145 frames per second. So honestly, the game looks horrible and we didn't gain a lot of performance. So the trade-off is not worth making, basically. Like, I don't see any kind of situation where you would benefit from this, because the higher you go with your upscalers, not only the game looks worse, but it is taxing on your hardware as well. So yeah, there are diminishing returns. And once we go to FSR4, you'll see that we do get diminishing returns, but we have other benefits. So let me go back to native and return everything to the defaults. So vanilla FSR is leaving a lot on the table, and let's fix that. Okay, the first method is pretty much dead simple. We're going to swap out the existing FSR binary for the FSR 4.0.2c version that the OptiScaler team has provided. And this modded binary lets you run FSR4 on RDNA 2 and RDNA 3 without any driver modifications, especially for the RDNA 2 cards, which we needed to do before and took like a very long time, and we had to uninstall and reinstall the drivers after we modified them. It was a huge hassle. Now you will need to grab this file manually from the official OptiScaler Discord channel. Link is going to be in the description below. I know there's a lot of controversy around that, you know, with Discord and all that stuff, but unfortunately, as of now, this is the only way you can get it standalone. There's a simpler method that I'm going to showcase afterwards, but yeah, for now, if you just want to do the simplest thing, you need to go on their Discord channel and just download this modded binary they have created. But here's the catch. With StarRupture, the FSR binaries aren't in the main installation folder where the game's actual exe file lives. They are tucked away in a different folder. And just to show you guys, I'm going to go into StarRupture, where we usually go into games binaries and then Win64. And as you can see, there are no FSR binaries in here. So if we just drop everything in here, it's not going to work, basically. And the actual binaries are, again, in StarRupture, but instead of binaries, we're going to go into plugins. Then we're going to go into FSR source, Fidelity FX SDK kits, Fidelity FX, and signed bin. And as you can see over here, we have these two files, and this one is the 4.0.3 that ships with the game. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to back up this old FSR binary just in case So usually to back up the existing version of my binaries, I just add a .backup extension to the file name, which is pretty simple. Just right click on it, then rename. I'm gonna go to the end of it, then .backup. Press enter and you're pretty much done with the backup. Now let me navigate to where I save my FSR binaries. As you can see over here, FSR int8 4.0.2c. And basically I will press right click and then drag and drop in here and select copy here. And as you can see, this is the 4.0.2.0, which is the modded version that the OptiScaler team has created. So it's super simple, clean, and you can pretty easily revert whenever you need to the original version if you want. And yeah, that's it. We are basically done. Gonna load into the same save file. We are still in the native resolution over here, so let me go at the same spot. As you can see, we are hovering around 100 FPS. And let's go into the options and then video. And I'm gonna select FSR this time. This is the surefire way to know if this was installed correctly or not. I'm gonna go directly to performance. Sometimes switching for the first time can take a little bit of time, and I'm gonna go with 25% sharpness over here. I'm gonna hit apply, and you can see there's a huge difference. The game looks a lot better. We are getting around 123 FPS, 125 over here. My testing, I got a little bit higher FPS, which is to be expected again because I am recording with OBS and it does take a toll on performance. But as you can see, this is a night and day difference. This is set on performance, okay? But yeah, just take into account this is the same performance mode, same resolution, but the image is basically clean, the shimmering is gone, and we haven't lost a lot of frames over here. And that's the power of FSR4 basically. Let's go into options over here, video, and we can check out quality as well. We can drop the sharpness just to have an apples to apples comparison over here to 10% as we had it before for quality mode instead of 25%. But yeah, it looks extremely sharp over here. We are looking great, and the shimmering and the jagged edges and all that stuff, everything is gone. We are looking great. And you can see the grass, even though it's moving and I'm moving the camera, everything is super stable. Yeah, we're looking great. So let me go back into the default settings again. I'm gonna go with built-in and then native and 0% upscaling sharpness. Gonna hit apply, and then we're gonna quit out of the game. So yeah, here at GeekJ, we always want the optimal solution. So let's take it up a notch with OptiScaler-Client. So if you saw my previous video on OptiScaler-Client, you know this tool is a game changer. One-click install, auto-detects your library, handles everything. And for StarRupture, we get the full suite of options that the simple binary swap can't give us basically. But just to give you an apples to apples comparison of the installation method, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna delete this FSR binary we copied earlier, and then I'm gonna revert to the OG version of the FSR 3.1.5 basically upscaler. Now I'm gonna run the OptiScaler-Client, as you can see over here. And I'm gonna scroll down to find StarRupture. Here is StarRupture. We can go into manage. You can see everything is in its original state. And basically I have selected these defaults. It's going to install the 0.9.0 latest version of OptiScaler. Then it's going to try to install the FSR 4.0.2c. And it's gonna use the DXGI injection method and all that good stuff. So let's click auto install over here. So OptiScaler plus FSR4 int8 successfully installed. The problem is, as you can see over here, nothing has changed So we're still going to not benefit from this if we just leave it as is. So the only change we need to make is we need to go up to the main installation folder. As you can see, StarRupture over here. We're going to go into binaries Win64. So as you can see in the main installation folder, OptiScaler, as it always does, has placed all these files that it needs, but this is where it placed FSR4.0.2c version. So how do we tackle around this? This is an easier way to get FSR4.0.2c without having to visit Discord, by the way. So just right click and then you can just copy this file, and then we're going to go back into StarRupture, plugins, FSR. We're going to go inside these folders over here. I'm going to first back up the original as we did before. So .backup. And then I'm just going to paste the 4.0.2 version, and it's going to have the exact same effect. So keep in mind, you still need to do the FSR binary backup and then copy the FSR 4.0.2c binary into the plugins folder like we did before. But because OptiScaler-Client downloads that automatically, you basically have the added benefit not only of all the OptiScaler stuff we're going to utilize, but that you don't need to go into their Discord and, use Discord in general if you're against that. So unfortunately for this game, OptiScaler-Client, instead of being a one-click installation, we need to do a one-click installation and the copy over to make it actually work. And now let's run the game, and basically this is where it gets exciting. As you can see, OptiScaler has popped up on the bottom left, so that means we installed it correctly. And we are using the built-in upscaler at the moment. As you can see, this isn't injecting anything because we haven't selected DLSS from the game menus. But yeah, in general, instead of being locked to just the FSR options, we get the full benefits of FSR4 combined with DLSS inputs and multiple frame generation methods to choose from, basically. So let me show you how we do this. So first of all, we're gonna go into our options, then video. And as you can see, we do get the DLSS option over here. And let's say we're gonna go with quality and then use 10% of sharpness. And everything else is as we left it. I'm gonna hit apply and then go back into the game. And if we hit the insert key on our keyboard, you will see that, as always, OptiScaler defaults to the XeSS upscaler. Now, we can select from this drop-down the FSR3.x and then click on this Change Upscaler button. And you can see we're now using the FSR 4.0.2c specific upscaler. And typically, we want to uncheck the Use FSR inputs over here. So it will force the game to use the DLSS inputs instead, because usually the DLSS inputs are higher quality, and the input pipeline instead not only is higher quality, but it also gives you a cleaner image. Now save INI and close, and as you can see, we are at around 105, 107 FPS. Don't forget we are recording, but yeah, there is a tiny improvement in pixel stability, even above the, let's say, native FSR4 that we got from just using the binary copy-paste method, basically. But yeah, if we go into options, just so you guys can see, we are using FSR4. I'm gonna go into performance. Let's give it a little bit of time. As you can see, we are in performance now. I'm going to go to 25% sharpness over here, and we're going to go back into the game. As you can see, we did gain a few frames per second, but the image looks super nice, super clean, super sharp. And this is, yeah, the power of FSR4. As you can see over here, it's using the Model 3, which means performance, and we are on 4.0.2c. So let me go back to, let's say, the settings I would use to play the game actually. I'm gonna go with quality and then 10% over here, and I'm gonna hit apply. And next, for the frame generation, I will go on ahead and select Streamline via DLSSG, as you can see over here, or DLSSG via Streamline. And then let's say we want to use FSR frame generation over here. We can click Save INI and close, but as you can see, OptiScaler is warning us with the red letter font over here, Save INI and restart to apply the changes. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. So escape, quit. Now, before we load into our save game, I'm gonna hit the insert key over here, and I'm gonna activate and allow async over here into the OptiScaler options. Then I'm gonna save INI and close. Then I'm gonna go into my options video, and as you can see, we do get the option for DLSS frame generation. And on the low latency thing, be careful, you use only the reflex option over here. We're gonna hit apply, and then we're gonna load our save game. Okay, this is looking pretty nice and it feels super smooth. So if we press insert, we can see that the frame generation FSR 3.1.6 version of frame generation is active and async is working. Current Streamline frame generation state is on, and it has green letters over here, so that means it has worked. So if we want to take advantage of anti-lag 2 as well, we can just click on this VRR frame cap calculator, and it's gonna calculate everything automatically for us. We can set as FPS limit, and then we can hit this button that says apply limit, and then we can save INI and close. And yeah, basically that's pretty much it. We're getting best of both worlds. And not only that, we can even select the XE frame generation that comes with XeSS if we feel that that works better for us. And yeah, just look at this. The visuals are gorgeous. The frame rate is basically buttery smooth, and we're getting the absolute best that FSR4 and frame generation can offer on RDNA 2 hardware. And this is the setup. But yeah, now that we've set up the optimal FPS limit right through the OptiScaler settings, maybe you are going to be asking, why do you want to do this or whatever? There are two big reasons for me. First, your graphics card stays nice and cool because it's not pushing frames. It doesn't need to. As you can see, we are, instead of maxing it out, sitting at 83%, and we are at the same time recording through OBS. So normally when I do this, I see like 72 to 80% usage without the OBS recording in the background. And second, obviously your wallet will thank you, because a GPU running at 70% instead of 100% makes a real difference on the power bill over time. And in our day and age and what's going on in the world, trust me, you're gonna want to do this. But yeah, you don't even need to go through a lot of menus to find your sweet spot and everything. OptiScaler just calculates everything. Just hit this button over here under the VRR cap calculator, set as FPS limit. It's gonna calculate it by itself, and then you click apply limit, save INI, close, and yeah, that's it. Basically, you can just enjoy the best visuals without extra heat and without the extra power draw. And yeah, you can see we are running at the base frame rate of 78. The game feels dead smooth, and we are capping at 156, 157, which is the frame rate limit automatically set by OptiScaler. So if this helped you unlock FSR4 in StarRupture, smash that like button, subscribe, Hit that bell so you never miss a GeekJ video. If you want to take it further, consider joining the GeekJ squad for early access and exclusive perks, or drop a super thanks if you're feeling generous, of course. Massive shout out to my channel architects, Paris STR and Kostas Dari. You are and will always remain legends. And a big thank you to our donors, Tony, and the other people that didn't wish to be named. Drop your results in the comments below. What FPS are you getting with FSR4 in StarRupture? I read every single one of your comments. So yeah, be sure to comment down below. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.